from the king, reflecting on the many symbols of his mother in the palace.
That your traditions are ancient.
In a scandalous turn of events at Buckingham Palace, King Charles loses his composure, screaming at Camilla in a heated confrontation. What could have possibly sparked such fury? The shocking revelation that Camilla, yes, Camilla, is accused of stealing the king's priceless jewels has rocked the royal family to its core. Was it a desperate act of betrayal or a hidden agenda? Join us as we uncover the explosive details, unravel the shocking drama, and explore the consequences of this royal scandal. You won't believe what happened next. The making of a queen consort. After years of controversy, public doubt, and cautious maneuvering behind palace walls, Camilla, the wife of King Charles III, has officially stepped into the role of queen consort. It's a title that, for much of her life, seemed like an impossibility. Long shadowed by the beloved memory of Princess Diana and burdened by a past filled with public scrutiny, Camilla's path to royal acceptance was anything but smooth. When she married Charles in 2005, many still viewed her through the lens of the past, the woman who had come between the then Prince and Princess of Wales. In deference to Diana's enduring legacy, Camilla was styled the Duchess of Cornwall instead of Princess of Wales. Even the idea of her becoming Princess Consort was floated, a title with no royal precedent, seemingly to soften public backlash and maintain tradition. Yet, in a moment that marked a turning point, Queen Elizabeth II, just months before her death in 2022, expressed her sincere wish that Camilla be known as Queen Consort when Charles ascended the throne. It was the royal seal of approval that not only confirmed her future role, but also reflected a significant shift in public opinion. Camilla's transformation from scandal-ridden royal companion to a respected senior member of the royal family is a study in patience, grace, and quiet determination. Rather than attempting to win over the public with grand gestures or media campaigns, she chose a different path, one marked by consistent support, dignified presence, and unwavering commitment to her royal duties. Over the years, Camilla has carved out a space of her own in the royal sphere. She now supports over 90 charitable organizations, with a focus on causes close to her heart, including literacy, animal welfare, osteoporosis awareness, domestic violence prevention, and women's rights. Her work, often low-key but deeply impactful, has gradually earned her admiration and respect across the UK and beyond. In 2021, she received widespread praise for her powerful speech calling on men to actively challenge violence against women, further proving that she wasn't afraid to speak up on important issues. Her elevation to Royal Lady of the Order of the Garter, the oldest and most prestigious order of chivalry in the UK, was another signal of her growing stature within the monarchy. It was a quiet but powerful recognition of the steady role she has played in the background of the royal machine. What was once a love story entangled in scandal has matured into a partnership rooted in loyalty, shared duty, and mutual respect. Camilla's journey to becoming Queen Consort is one of resilience, redemption, and reinvention. She has managed to navigate the complex and often unforgiving world of royalty not by erasing her past, but by steadily redefining her future. Now, as Queen Consort beside King Charles III, Camilla stands not just as his partner in life, but as a symbol of how roles and people can evolve. Her story serves as a quiet reminder that the road to acceptance may be long, but with grace and persistence, even the most unlikely of roles can be rightfully earned. Unfortunately, Camilla was rumored to have been intoxicated by the huge dose of power, starting a heavy storm in the palace. Let's delve into the details of what Camilla was reported to have displayed. A royal storm. Behind Buckingham Palace's grand gates and ornate halls, where the whispers of centuries-old traditions echo off the walls, something unexpected is quietly unfolding. It's not the latest political scandal, nor a media storm, but something much more personal, something that's shaking the very foundation of the British monarchy. The cause of this brewing storm? A ring. Not just any ring, but a deeply treasured royal heirloom, engraved with King Charles III's name. This ring, which he had worn since the 1970s, was not just a piece of jewelry, it was a symbol of legacy, loyalty, and royal lineage. Yet one day, it mysteriously vanished, disappeared without a trace. What began as a simple search for a missing item quickly spiraled into something far more sinister. Whispers of betrayal, secrecy, and intrigue began to spread through the palace corridors. The surprising twist? The finger of suspicion was pointed not at a servant, a distant relative, or a palace insider, but at Queen Camilla, King Charles's wife, confidant, and once controversial partner. She was the one who had stood by him through decades of public scrutiny and scandal, finally assuming her place as queen consort. The disappearance of the ring rocked King Charles. Palace sources revealed that he was furious upon discovering it was missing. But it wasn't just the loss of the ring that disturbed him. It was the person he suspected, Camilla. Was this just a misunderstanding? Or was there something more at play here? Was this missing heirloom caught in the crossfire of a power struggle, or was it part of a much larger game of influence? As the search for the ring continued, it became clear that its disappearance was only the beginning of a deeper shift within the royal household. Camilla, once seen as a supportive figure behind her husband, had begun to take on a more assertive role. She made more solo public appearances, granted interviews without the prior approval of the palace, and even took liberties with the royal calendar. Reports surfaced that she had even cancelled royal engagements, making decisions without consulting King Charles or his team. But the real shock came when the official royal website was updated. The title, Queen Consort, which had been used for Camilla since her ascension, was quietly replaced with simply Queen. At first glance, this might seem like a minor change, perhaps just a subtle update in language. But in royal circles, this was nothing short of seismic. Before her passing, Queen Elizabeth II had made it clear that Camilla should always be known as Queen Consort, a title that emphasized her supportive, not sovereign, role. For it to be quietly erased, it felt to many within the palace like a silent rebellion, a strategic move to shift the balance of power from within the royal family itself. There were no official decrees, no grand announcements, just a quiet, yet calculated change that left royal insiders wondering, is Camilla simply expanding her role, or is she rewriting the very rules of the monarchy? The disappearance of the ring and the shifts in Camilla's position have raised more questions than answers. What started as an investigation into a missing heirloom has now become a revealing look behind the palace walls, exposing a quiet drama that could redefine the future of the British monarchy. Is the missing item just a jewel, or had it something greater attached to it? Let's find out. The Showdown. The tension reached a boiling point the morning after Camilla's most controversial act, an unexpected and unauthorized interview. What was initially intended as a personal reflection turned into a royal bombshell. Camilla, in her candid conversation, not only revealed intimate details about herself, but also disclosed King Charles's private plans for the monarchy's future, plans he believed had been shared in confidence. For Charles, this wasn't just a breach of royal protocol. It felt like a personal betrayal. He had always cherished discretion, valuing the trust that came with sharing his innermost thoughts with Camilla. But seeing their private conversations broadcast to the world shattered more than just his pride. It struck at the very heart of their relationship. The bond of trust he had built with her over the years was now in jeopardy. Palace staff, who had seen the king through numerous crises, noticed something different about him that day. For the first time, he appeared isolated, like a man left standing alone, abandoned by the one person he had counted on most. That night, Camilla's absence from the palace was palpable. Her silence was louder than any apology could have been. Charles, barely able to contain his anger, paced the grounds of Buckingham Palace. Frustrated and helpless, he fired off messages, but none of them were returned. His royal advisors could only watch as their monarch seemed to unravel before them, consumed by a mix of fury and heartbreak. The following morning, Camilla returned to the palace, but she didn't come back with any sign of remorse. Instead, she walked in with her head held high, her expression unreadable. The stage was set for a confrontation, and Charles was ready. When they finally faced each other, the tension between them was almost unbearable. "What have you done?" he demanded, his usual calm demeanor cracking as raw emotion broke through. "You've betrayed me. You've used your position to push your own agenda. You exposed what was meant to be ours alone." But Camilla didn't flinch. In fact, her response was as icy as it was defiant. "I am the Queen," she reportedly said, her voice steady and unwavering. "I have every right to speak." For Charles, those words were a sharp, cold reminder of how much had changed. But it wasn't just about words. It was about something much deeper. "Who took the king's jewel?" he asked, his gaze piercing through her. "Who took my ring?" The room fell into a heavy, suffocating silence. This wasn't merely about a missing ring anymore. It was about control, trust, and betrayal. That ring symbolized everything: his authority, his family, and his throne. And now, it was gone. Had Camilla taken it? Was this an act of rebellion, or was there something more calculated at play? Inside Buckingham Palace, beneath the crown that still sat on Charles's head, a storm was brewing. Trust had already been broken, and in this brutal game of thrones, love seemed like it might be the next casualty. Let's dig further into the details behind this raging storm. A royal ring. A raging storm. What started as a seemingly simple incident quickly escalated into a dramatic saga that rocked the royal family to its core. King Charles's beloved pinky ring, a symbol of his royal identity and his bond with Queen Camilla, mysteriously vanished. This was no ordinary piece of jewelry. It was an iconic signet ring passed down from Queen Camilla on their wedding day, a cherished emblem of both their marriage and the legacy of the monarchy. Its disappearance sent the palace into a frenzy of searching and speculation. Yet, the truth behind its vanishing was more unexpected and explosive than anyone could have anticipated. As King Charles visibly struggled with the emotional weight of losing such a cherished and symbolic item, Queen Camilla remained surprisingly calm, almost too calm. Her decision to stay silent on the matter stirred even more speculation within the palace walls. Gossip spread like wildfire. Could she have been involved in the ring's mysterious disappearance? Was it an innocent mix-up? Or did the missing ring hint at a deeper rift in their relationship? The Queen's composed demeanor only made things more suspicious. What was she hiding? Court insiders couldn't help but wonder if the ring's loss was more than just a misplaced item. It may have been a silent signal of tension behind the royal couple's carefully polished public image. The tension between the royal couple reached a boiling point behind closed palace doors. In an unforgettable moment, Queen Camilla, with an air of cold authority, reached into her purse and pulled out the missing ring. She declared, "What belongs to the king is mine." Her words sharp and commanding. The shock on Charles's face was palpable. This bold, unapologetic act laid bare the underlying tensions that had been simmering between them for years, sending waves of disbelief throughout the palace. However, the disappearance of the ring was only the spark that ignited a much larger, long-buried rift between the couple. The anger that Camilla had quietly carried with her for years, stoked by the public backlash she endured during her relationship with Charles, especially in the wake of Princess Diana's death, had festered for far too long. The king's perceived failure to publicly defend her from the media's harsh criticisms had only worsened the situation. What many had assumed to be a peaceful and harmonious royal marriage was, in reality, a partnership fraught with unresolved bitterness and emotional scars. The public image of a perfect royal union was just a mask, hiding the deeper, more complicated reality of their relationship. Beneath the royal smiles and formal appearances, years of frustration, anger, and emotional pain had been quietly building. The loss of the ring forced all these emotions into the open, marking the tipping point for a relationship that had long been strained. What many had believed to be the unshakable institution of the monarchy now appeared to be crumbling under the weight of personal conflict. The monarchy, once seen as an emblem of stability, now found itself in turmoil, with these unresolved issues threatening to shake its foundation. What seemed like a small incident over a missing piece of jewelry had uncovered a deep, unresolved conflict that could have long-lasting consequences on the future of the royal family and the monarchy itself. The delicate balance of power within the family may never be the same again. While the possession of power being fought for, let's dive into the details of conflict between Camilla and other royal members. The crown, the conflict, and the quiet queen. Rising. Behind the grandeur of tiaras, exquisite gowns, and lavish royal events, there is a quieter, yet deeply consequential battle for power unfolding. Camilla, once vilified in the tabloids and frequently portrayed as the antagonist in countless royal stories, has steadily been emerging as a significant force within the British royal family. Her transformation from a background figure to a key player is both remarkable and unexpected. Over the years, she has gradually shifted from a more passive role to one that demands attention, influencing key decisions within the royal family. Far from the villain she was once made out to be, Camilla is now steadily carving out a powerful presence, one that continues to evolve and grow in importance. Her rise to prominence within the royal family has been gradual but undeniable. Camilla has gone from being seen as the controversial partner of King Charles to one who commands respect and influence. With her graceful and composed presence at public appearances, combined with her increasing involvement in royal matters, she is steadily cementing her position at the heart of the monarchy's operations. The public, once highly critical of her, now watches as she steps more confidently into her role as queen consort, moving from the shadows into the spotlight, where her voice increasingly matters. Yet, this newfound power hasn't come without its challenges. For decades, King Charles has been the central figure in the monarchy, the heir apparent, and the one many believed would define the future of the royal family. After spending more years than anyone can remember as the heir to the throne, Charles has long been regarded as the leader, the one who would carry forward the British monarchy's legacy. But recent reports suggest that this balance of power may be beginning to shift. Inside the palace walls, there are murmurs of unease, subtle tensions that suggest Charles may feel somewhat unsettled by his wife's growing influence. One incident that highlighted this growing tension occurred over what initially seemed like a trivial domestic matter, the infamous pinky ring incident. What appeared to be a small squabble between the royal couple quickly took on deeper significance. This seemingly inconsequential moment was more than just a personal dispute. It became a reflection of a much larger shift taking place within the monarchy. The incident subtly revealed how the once clear lines of authority between the king and queen consort are starting to blur. Camilla's increasing influence within the royal family is beginning to challenge long-established norms, sending ripples through the royal structure. As the tug-of-war between Camilla's rising influence and Charles' traditional authority continues, an important question arises. Who truly holds the upper hand in this changing royal dynamic? Camilla, who once spent years in the shadows of public scrutiny, has emerged as an undeniable presence, steadily asserting herself as not just the queen consort, but as an influential figure in royal matters. However, as her influence expands, the tension between her and Charles also grows. The question remains, can two people who share the throne coexist as equal partners? Or will the competition for power eventually tear them apart? As Camilla's influence continues to rise, the monarchy finds itself at a crossroads. The traditional balance of power, once clearly defined and secure, is now increasingly uncertain. With power dynamics shifting between Camilla and Charles, the monarchy's future, once thought to be predictable, now seems to hang in the balance. This evolving power struggle could reshape the very foundations of the royal family, leading to a monarchy that is very different from the one that the public has known for centuries. How this quiet, yet crucial battle for influence unfolds will undoubtedly have lasting repercussions on the monarchy's future. The world watches as this unique chapter in royal history continues to develop. Moving a little bit from Camilla, Kate and Meghan Markle are the closest royal wives to the throne. Let's dive into the life of another royal wife, Meghan Markle. Meghan in Montecito. As the royal family in London struggles with emotional tensions and deepening divides, Meghan Markle, thousands of miles away in California, is quietly creating a new empire built on lifestyle, elegance, and the very essence of the persona that made her a global sensation. On April 2, 2025, Meghan launched her brand As Ever, a chic, California-inspired collection that celebrates family, food, and the casual yet sophisticated flair she's known for. The brand's debut was nothing short of a success. From jars of wildflower honey to gourmet crepe mixes, the products sold out almost immediately, sending waves of excitement through her loyal fans. However, this success came with a downside. The limited stock left many customers disappointed and frustrated. Meghan, ever the gracious entrepreneur, quickly turned the situation around by personally apologizing to her fans and sending surprise gifts, creating a deeper sense of connection and loyalty among her supporters. But while Meghan's entrepreneurial ventures are clearly thriving, they have not come without controversy. Her Netflix collaboration, which is tied to her brand, includes the series With Love, Meghan, a show that gives fans a more personal glimpse into her life, offering them a taste of her world, quite literally, through her products. Critics, however, are questioning whether she is using her royal connections to fuel her business ambitions. Could the brand's success be linked to the fame she gained as a duchess? Some wonder if the Queen was right to restrict the use of the Sussex royal title, given the implications of monetizing royal associations. At the same time, Meghan's lifestyle brand is not the only public aspect of her life that is under scrutiny. There's also the ongoing tension between Meghan and Harry when it comes to how much of their private lives should be shared with the public. While Meghan fully embraces the openness of her new Californian life, where personal and professional boundaries often blur, Harry remains more guarded. Having grown up in the harsh spotlight of the media, his experiences have made him more cautious, especially when it comes to their children. The couple's differing approaches to privacy have sparked quiet tension, with Meghan pushing for a more transparent, open approach, while Harry, ever protective, is more hesitant to expose their children to the same kind of media scrutiny he faced growing up. Behind their carefully curated public personas lies a quiet battle, one that is deeply personal, yet constantly under the scrutiny of the media. How much of their royal past should they allow to shape their future? Meghan is determined to forge ahead with her business ventures, building an empire that celebrates her values and passions, while Harry is more inclined to protect their family's privacy, ensuring that their children's futures are not dictated by the same public pressures that defined his childhood. Their journey is one of balancing two worlds, one of openness and personal connection, the other of caution and protection. The stakes are high, and as they continue to navigate this delicate balance, their future together, both as a couple and as public figures, remains an intriguing, evolving story. What do you think about Camilla's actions? Did she really steal the ring? We would love to hear your thoughts in the comments below. Don't forget to like and subscribe.